how much we have in common as we move on to our next guest, who's going to share her story with us. Because one of the things that we are not told enough about is what to expect in terms of symptoms, and we just expect the worst. And we figure as long as we're in pain, as long as we're flowing heavy, then everything is fine. And really, those things are symptoms that we can do something about, and we can definitely get out of the space where we are constantly living in pain, because periods are really not supposed to be painful. All right. So Tammy has shared her story. Let us see who else has a nice, interesting period story to share with us. And remember, people, all stories are different, so we are not all going to sound the same. We have periods that are different, longer, shorter, painful, not painful, and that's the whole point of the matter. All of us don't have the same experience. That's why we're telling our stories. So now I'd like to move on to the vivacious Miss Terri-Karelle. Yes, Terry is very present on social media, and she has these great conversations with her daughter about periods, which I think is so important, because we don't talk enough to girls about period, especially before their period starts. We tend to wait until after the period starts before we have the conversation. In my opinion, that's too late. But we want to ask Terry, tell me your story. Tell me something about an experience that you have had with your period, and then we start from there.
All right, well, first of all, morning, Shelly. Hi to all your guests, and of course, everyone who is tuning into the chat. I think what you're doing is just amazing. I do think we need to normalize these conversations. So for me, I was always the late bloomer in terms of my period story. So I was the girl in the class who was, as we call it, the last out of the boat. Everybody was already bumping. Everybody already, what they were either using their pads, sanitary napkins, or they were using their tampons. And I was just like, all right, cool. And I remember moving from prep school to high school. And what my grandmother did was she gave me a little pouch. She put a little panty in there, a liner. She gave me a sanitary napkin and a little piece of tissue. And she said to me, God bless her heart, one of these days you might have an accident at school. And when you do, use this. And I was like, accident at school, use this. And I think it's because back in the day, they didn't really necessarily know how to have the conversations. At least she was nice enough to prepare me with a little pouch. There are a lot of women and a lot of girls who come to me in my DMs who tell me it came and they didn't have a clue what was going on. Some thought they were dying. Some thought they were going to get in trouble. Some thought they were pregnant. At least my grandma did that. And I walked around with that pouch for 3 years in a high school before it finally happened. And thank God it happened at home. It didn't happen at school. But for me, it was very painful, very long. Just like Tammy, I was going for very long periods, though no pun intended. I stopped using Baralgin in 4th form because Baralgin at the time was the pill that all the girls said, and even parents said would have definitely stopped the cramps. And for me,
that's supposed to work.
My period, my menstrual cramps looked at Baralgin in 4th form and was like, where you are go? You're not doing nothing. And I started using ibuprofen from high school. And so for me, like Tammy, when my friends were doing 2-3 days, they were spotting in the 3 days. I was having full periods from the first day to the last day. And to this day, I still have menstrual cramps. And I've even done Digital Rising Stars live. I've done finales, and people have asked me this because they say, we see you pretty much working every single day, always on. And a lot of people do not know sometimes I am side of stage during Digital Rising Stars. My mother is rubbing my back. Natalie is rubbing my back, and I am trying to push through the cramps that I, experience even when I'm on jobs. I think mentally I've learned how to deal with it. I still have to figure out how to address my pain management before it even hits me. So I no longer wait for my cramps to hit me. I start to try to manage that pain from before. Where my daughter is concerned, I want her to be proud of her body. I don't want her to be ashamed of her body. So I, use terms like breast, bottom, vagina. We use those terms so that she does not hear those terms and cringe. I think when we speak openly about our reproductive system, it makes it easier for her to deal with it when she comes. So she has seen me in the bathroom. She has peeled my sanitary napkin out of the wrapper. She has asked me, Mommy, can I put it on your pants? And I'm like, maybe not. You don't have to get all up in my grill. But I think she is very open, and she knows what a tampon looks like. She knows what, you know, menstrual cramps look like. She'll say, "Mommy, do you need your pills?" And I think because we have that relationship, hopefully when hers come, it won't be a, "Oh my God, I'm ashamed," but it would be a, "All right, it is here and I know what to do."
Yes, yes. It's funny that you spoke about that, because that is one of the biggest things that I notice, especially when we do the work in schools. Because of course, you know, with Her Flow, we do period education workshop in schools, and we have those conversations with little girls who tell us sometimes the period starts on the bus on the way to school. And when they're on the bus and they mess up themselves, they don't know what is happening to them. They think they're dying. This one little girl told me she thought she had cancer because she lost her grandmother to cancer like a month or so before. So she thought that she got the cancer from her grandmother. And you know, we really do a disservice to them when we don't tell them what to expect, when we don't prepare them. You see that little pouch that your grandmother gave you? That is an amazing first step, because that's one of the biggest issues. A lot of times they are unprepared. They don't have anything on them. They don't know what to do with it. And so a lot of them, for the first time, they're meeting these products on the day when they have their first period. And I believe that's too late. They need to know about these things before that. And that's one of the reasons why I spend so much time trying to make sure that they touch the product, they know what it looks like, they know what it is for. Incidentally, today, 12:30, we're going to be doing one of those demonstrations. So let your daughter watch. We're going to tell her to give her a panty and a pad. We're going to show her exactly how to put it on. Here I have my little panty here. I have it right here, sir.
Oh man, she will probably want to teach. She will probably want to show you, this is what we do.
No problem with that. That's exactly the point. Because I want them to be able to be comfortable with the products, to know what to do with them, because ignorance is never the answer. I don't care what the question is.
It's not bliss.
But we can't continue to keep them in the dark, believing that we're protecting them. So this is something that I really do believe that we must do, and this conversation must continue. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
You know, you big up yourself, and I know that you have a lot of stuff going on. So thank you very much. I know it was a lot to slip us in. So big up yourself and thank you very much. All right. So yeah, man.